Okay, let's look at division now. Division very much is sharing, and it's also how many somethings in a something. So if I'm going to think about the number 24, if I'm doing 24 divided by 4, it really is how many 4s will fit inside 24. I can draw that on a very quick number line. How many 4s will fit inside 24? So do my 4 times table, we go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. How many times did I add 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 jumps, isn't there? So 4 fitted into 24 6 times. So I often say division is how many somethings in a something. How many 4s in 24? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 is 6. So it's really important to understand that. So if you were a sports teacher splitting children into groups, that's what you're doing. Say you wanted to split 24 children into teams of 4. How many teams would you get? You would get 6 teams.
Yeah, so if you have a look at 24 divided by 4, your 24 would usually be your like things, and the 4 would be usually like your people. So it's like 24 sweets between 4 people. So the lower amount would usually be like how many people is it being shared between, and your higher amount is what is the thing? What are the things that are being shared?
We'll look at the bus stop method for division. Now, we had a brief look at a number line method of division, didn't we? And the bus stop method of division, well, we'll look at it like this. So 248 divided by 4. So what we're doing here is we're sharing 248. It could be, as Mr. Blom said, it could be 248 sweets. I think we both talk about sweets a lot in the class. 248 sweets shared between 4 people, okay? Division makes things smaller, so whatever the answer is, it's going to be smaller because each of those people is not going to get 248 sweets. They're going to get less than that. They're going to get a quarter of that. Divided by 4 is the same as finding a quarter. So it's always how many somethings in a something. How many 4s in 2? How many 4s can you fit inside 2? You can't fit any 4s inside 2. So it's 0. We didn't use the 2, so we carry it on, and it's 24. This is how many 4s in 24, which was what we did at the start of the video, wasn't it? How many 4s in 24? So I count in 4s till I get to 24. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 is 6. Exactly 6. And how many 4s in 8? 4, 8, it's 2. And the answer is 62. It did get smaller because division makes things smaller usually. 248 sweets. If you shared them between 4 people, each person would get 62 sweets. 3,783 divided by 3. So the first number goes inside the bus stop. It's usually the biggest number. Usually, not always. But the first number in the question, this one, goes inside the bus stop. 3,783 divided by 3. So you start at the beginning. How many 3s fit into 3? Exactly 1. 3 goes into 3 one time. How many 3s will fit into 7? 3, 6, 9. That didn't work. That's too many. 3, 6. It is 2. So I counted up to 6, but that says 7, which means I have 1 remaining. So that's 18. How many 3s in 18? 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. 18 is 6 exactly. How many 3s fit into 3? 1. So as we can see, 3,783 sweets shared between 3. Each person would get 1,261. I always like to think about it in sweets at the end to make sure it makes sense. Division makes things smaller, and our answer has got smaller. Right, let's do a bigger question. Now this one I've not planned it out. In fact, I'm going to plan it out to have a remainder, so this won't work. This won't work exactly. 43,563 divided by 5. 43,563 divided by 5. The first number goes in the bus stop, 5 goes outside. We're seeing how many 5s fit into things. How many 5s fit into 4? 5 can't fit into 4. 0 carried a 4. Often it is 0 at the start, isn't it? Quite often it's 0 or 1 at the start, so be aware of that. How many 5s in 43? Lots of them. Lots of 5s in 43. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 is 8. That was 40 though, which means we got a remainder 3. 3 we didn't use. How many 5s in 35? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. It's 7. 7 5s fit into 35. How many 5s fit into 6? Not many. 5, it's just 1. But I said 5, that is 6, which means we have 1 left over. How many 5s fit into 13? 5. 10 is 2. And we'll have a remainder this time, remainder 3. I'll quickly show you what you can do with remainders. One thing you can do with remainders is you can just say it's remainder 3, or you could very easily change it to a fraction. Cross out the r, put the 3 over something. What do you put it over? You put it over whatever the number is at the start. Whatever the number is you're dividing by, whatever the divisor is. So 3/5. So we could say the answer is 8,712 and 3/5.
A remainder is the amount of a whole that you have left. In the same way, a decimal is an amount of a whole, and a fraction is an amount of a whole. So when you have a remainder 3, you have 3 of 5 possible left.
Let's look at division with decimals. The good thing about this is it's nice and easy, really, I think, division with decimals. As long as you line up your decimal point, everything just works fine. So I really like division with decimals. The bus stop is one of the things in maths that can save you so much time once you get good and quick at it. It can do so many things. So 48 and a bit, 48.12 divided by 4. All you have to do with decimals is line up the point on top. As long as you do that, it's going to be fine. You do everything else like you normally do. 4 into 4 is 1. 4 into 8 is 4. 8 is 2. Just carry on. 4 into 1 is 0. Carry the 1. 4 into 12, 4, 8, 12 is exactly 3. We get 12.03, and that is decimal division with the bus stop. Something that the bus stop is absolutely excellent for is something like this. Let's say you have £2 and you had to share it between 8 people. £2 shared between 8 people. So, as I said before, the first number goes inside the bus stop, and it's usually the biggest, but here it's not. This is £2 divided by 8. So this is very strange. 2 divided by 8. Now this won't work, but there's a way of making it work. You might get a clue because it's pounds. If you're trying to divide 2 by 8, you can actually do it by putting a decimal point on. If there's no decimal point on a number, where does it go? On the end. So 2 can be made into 2.00. That actually looks like £2 anyway, doesn't it? That's how we'd write £2 sometimes. Now this is now going to work. Line up your decimal point. 8 into 2 is 0. Carry the 2. 8 into 20, 8 and 16 is 2. 17, 18, 19, 20, 4 remainder. And 8 into 40 works exactly as 5. So the answer is 0.25 because £2 divided by 8 is 0.25. This is one of the things I love about the bus stop. It can do word problems like this really quick once you get used to it. You can divide 2 by 8 if you put a decimal point and 2 zeros, 2.00.
Just to add, if you are going to divide using the bus stop method and you're going to be using decimal amounts, I'm going to suggest that when you give your answer and you get a remainder, you go further down the place values into the decimals. How are you going to do this? We're going to write 25.67 divided by 7 as normal. Put the decimal point there to show. 7 does not go into 2, but 7 does go into 25. Mr. Saul likes putting the 20 there next to it. That's not a problem at all. 7, 14, 21. So that means it goes 3 times. The leftover amount is 4.
I noticed, Mr. Bomb, you don't write your 0 on top of the first 2, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep strong with mine because it is a different way. But as long as I'm knowing that the 3 is in the units column, I'm absolutely fine. And that decimal does help me there. 7 goes into 46. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. So that means it goes in 6 times. Took me a while there. I have another leftover amount of 4, and then I'm going to get the same answer of 6 again. Now, you could say that it goes in 6 times with a remainder of 5, but because there is both a decimal and a remainder, doesn't look too great.
Yeah, you can't really leave it as a decimal with a remainder, can you?
No.
You've got to do something else.
Right, yeah, and this is really complex. This is going into probably more than you need to go if you're in primary school, but it's cool to know. One thing you can do when you're dividing and using the bus stop method, even if you're only dividing a whole number by whole number, is if you do have a remainder, on the next place value, put in a placeholder, which will obviously be 0, and then place the leftover amount before the placeholder. And what happens is that leftover amount becomes the larger place value in the next place value. So it'll be 50 divided by 7.
We can just keep going, basically.
And you can go as long as you can. I didn't really strategize a way in which the number would be.
No, let's just see what happens.
Perfect, but you can.
We don't know, do we?
Yeah, you can go on for ages, and this is, like I said, this is really into the next level, great depth stuff. So 7 goes into 50 7 times. We have 1 left over. Now I could write remainder 1, but it doesn't look great going with decimals. So I'm going to put another placeholder there. That remainder 1 goes there. 7 goes into 10 once. 3 left over. I don't think it's ever going to work, but it's fine. Placeholder 3. This is great practice, though, isn't it? For just doing.
We need a bigger bus stop, bigger roof on our bus stop.
Yeah, gonna need a bigger bus stop. And then you've got 7 goes into 30. 7, 14, 21, 28 goes in 4 times. Now, how I know this is not going to work is when you multiply 7 into any number. So let's go 7, 14. 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70 is the only way in which this is going to end is if the leftover amount is 7. So I could go on for ages, but they might ask you to divide to a specific number of place values. So they might say to round to the 3rd place value. So over here you've got the 1st place value, the 2nd place value, and the 3rd place value. So therefore all of this would be not worth doing because you only have to divide to the first 3 places. So as you can see there, I would have had to go and add a place value and put the leftover amount there because otherwise I wouldn't have got the right answer. So yeah, just an example of how you can answer using decimals. And if you get a decimal question and you do have a remainder, I don't think the teacher will ever want you to give a decimal and a remainder because it doesn't work.
In the test, it'll be something that works out anyway, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.